Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 One Club story from Hemel Hempstead Town with me, Daniel. It's part 46 of the Tudor Times today, and after all that excitement, the buzz we got from the transfer special and our opening day performance in the last episode, it's all started to go a little bit wrong, quite frankly. We're in 13th place in the league after albeit just 3 games, but we have not won a league match since the last episode, and we've crashed out the League Cup as well. We've got a couple of players on trial, we've had injury problems in key positions, and it might be a busy deadline day yet. So as well as playing Swindon, we will have the transfer window closing. We might have a signing or two. I'm not quite happy yet. I think we need to do a little bit of work. If you're looking forward to finding out what happens, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on for daily FM22 content. We had a big one in a head coach yesterday, and it will be followed by a transfer special tomorrow. And of course, we recently went to see Hemel Hempstead, which you can see up in the eye above, as well as the Twitch channel for regular live streams and much more. But thank you so much for your incredible support, as we've got to talk about a little bit of work that's been done since you were last with me. And to be honest, the majority of it is getting players out of the club that were needed. We knew this wouldn't be an instant fix. We'd need players to get up to speed. We'd need players to get used to the new tactic. But we've managed to get a few of the old guard out of the club, those that wouldn't be able to feature in our new system. We've got a few players that may or may not be joining. I haven't quite made my mind up yet. I think the left back Morris is pretty much a no-go now. It just depends on a couple of trialists what we do with these. But in the meantime, this is what has happened at the club already. So 2 young backup signings since you were last with me. We'll look at those in a minute. But crucially, 3 players out of the club and 1 of the signings out on loan too. So we'll come back to Bilal Jesus Garcia in a moment. But first, fellow Ross Lang, of course, got that long-term injury at the end of last season. We've now ditched wingers and he's not improved. So he's going to go on loan to League 1 in Scotland. He's playing for Falkirk, where he had a brilliant debut. And if he can get a good season injury-free, it'll be alright. But as you can see, he's picked up an injury immediately. And that's the problem with him now. Having come back from a long one, is he going to get those muscle knocks, those ligament injuries all the time? We'll wait and see how the season goes. Kobe Rowe was the next one to leave. Good centre-half, did a job for us when we needed. But at 30, he's now a non-league standard player. And he's gone off to Kings Lynn, who I think, yes, are still in the National League North. They've gone down near the start of the save and they've stayed there for a couple of years now. He will be there for the rest of this season. And then Will Grewell Pollard. Bit of a weird one this. He was a backup left back. Rejected an offer of about 70 grand from Plymouth. And then he came and threw his toys out the pram. First he said he was unhappy. Then he said he's going to leave on a free at the end of his contract this year. And then he basically forced his way out. So in the end, we got offered 100 grand and 50% of an ex-sell-on clause. And I just felt we had to take it. He's 23, he wasn't going to improve a great deal more, and although he was a very solid player for us, he's someone we can replace. So that's why we're looking at a number of left backs at the moment, but Will Grewell Pollard has gone, and his attitude suggests we're probably happy to see the back of him. What it does mean is that we've brought in a couple of younger players, again, lower fees from non-league clubs, taking a bit of a gamble. The first is Matt Shenton, £2,400 from Solihull Moors. Solid little right back, 2-star ability, 3.5 potential. He's 20, he's a youth international for the Republic of Ireland. Want to get a little bit more pace into him, want to try and improve him technically. But all of the attributes are there and he's got a professional personality. So for someone that's played 14 games in League 2 for Solihull, maybe it's not a bad signing. If he doesn't make it, we've only lost 2.5 grand. The second one, who has signed from Havant and Waterlooville and gone straight back to them on loan, is Bilal Jesus Garcia. £13,000 for a 19-year-old centre-half. He is 2.5-star ability, 2-star at central defence. Only 5'11", which is a slight concern. A bit like Egan might have to retrain as a midfielder, but he's got massive potential. He's an Arsenal Academy product. And with Havant, he's playing football in the National League South after relegation from the National League last year. So I'm hoping he'll improve and then maybe come back next year when a couple of the older ones are gone. So we've still not got Nightingale off the books. We've still got Reece Marshall as a backup and a couple of others. So I don't want to have too many there, just not getting football and not developing. So Jesus Garcia, again a small gamble. We'll see if he's going to come back and be a star next year. Of course, it's something that never used to happen in FM, but if you take the example of Brandon Bryan Moore this year, had a season on loan in the National League South, then won in the National League and now has become a good League 2 player. It is a lot more possible in FM22 to improve players outside of your own club. What we have had problems with since the last episode, though, is key injuries, and namely in goal. Zach Geacock, our number one, got injured after the second league game of the season, and it is no surprise that we have got worse defensively since that happened. He had a good start for us, he was improving, and still is, according to the training reports, but a little bit of a concern he's picked up injuries that quickly. I hope it's just a one-off coincidence, and we can have the rest of the season with him. You can see from the risk assessment reports just below there, we've got Priestley Farquharson on trial for the rest of the month. He's a pretty decent looking centre half, and he's 6'3" and imposing. Can play in midfield, someone we might look to sign. I'm just waiting to see what his wage demands are going to be at the minute, because they were a bit high previously, and they're still just about there. So maybe on deadline day, he'll be one we sign. But at the moment, I'm not panicking, despite the poor results. The games since you were last with me, it looked like it was all going to be pretty easy at first. A 2-1 win at Wickham in the Carabao Cup followed that brilliant opening day against MK Dons. Daly and Parry, the two strikers that joined in the summer, they both got their first goal for the club. Against Oldham at home, frustrating in front of goal, a 0-0 draw, but a brilliant performance and just one of those days. I wasn't worried about it. A 2-0 defeat though at Bristol Rovers signalled a very different sort of form. Again, no goalkeeper, maybe caused the issues at the back. But going forward, no real threat. And that followed against Wimbledon too. James Daly got one, but we didn't look great. And at the back, we've been a little bit concerning. So maybe it's just the settling in. Maybe it's just the injury to the keeper. But I am a little bit worried about what's been happening. I am of the mind to switch the two striker duties as well, because I'm not sure with Jones and Malcolm we've got it the right way round. And of course Malcolm is wanted, so we might yet lose him on deadline day. Neither of them look great the way round they're playing, but they've not been in a strike partnership before. Jones hasn't played football for 2 years, and Malcolm was playing up front on his own last season. So we've got to give them time. He's still playing well, Ricky J. Jones, just needs that goal to hit fire again. And if we can get that, and particularly if we can get it quick, I think he could still have a great season. Let's go and get into the game against Swindon Town, who have started okay in 9th. Just looking at how some of the other teams are improving in the window, our expectations now gone down to 6th. But we have played Bristol Rovers, we have played MK Dons, and today we play Swindon, who got promoted. So this is maybe a bit more of a realistic test. Oldham, probably the disappointing result, but the performance was really good. Now let's make the changes recommended to the team. We're still not going to have Geacock back in goal, but let's see if we can get a positive result. Back in a moment for the lineup. Now, weirdly, before we get to the starting lineup, because of the cup game in midweek and the way we were run ragged, a lot of players aren't fit for this. Neidham continuing his trend of not doing 2 games a week. Joseph, Heath and Berry all struggling too. We've got the Mickey Mouse Trophy in midweek, which has obviously been ruined by the under-23 sides, but we can't worry about that for now. League form is definitely paramount, and this is the side we've picked. We've got Sam Hornby in goal, solid keeper in League 2 last year, but not settled in too quickly in this one. McGinley and McDonald are fullbacks with Gillespie and Brian Moore centre half. Egan in a holding role, Alidor Hamilton and Reed in centre midfield. Will Swan, the attacking midfield, up behind Ricky J. Jones and Malcolm up front. They've swapped roles, they've swapped duties. Let's hope it brings positive change. We're early in the season, we don't need to panic yet. But if we start losing against sides that have come up from the National League, we might have to ask a couple of questions. Let's go and find out if we can avoid it. 9 changes for us from the League Cup game as we come up against a pretty solid Swindon Town team, it's got to be said. The likes of Will Collard, a decent player, Ryan East, the skipper, Billy Chadwick, good young player in real life. It's going to be interesting to see this. Are they going to frustrate us? Are they going to do what Oldham did and just sit 11 behind the ball? Or are they going to be able to push forward and give us a threat on our own goal? Scott Egan is aggressive, so I'm going to say I've got faith in you. Made literally no difference. And since he's left us permanently, he almost doesn't care now. Not trained as hard, not performed as well. We've got to keep an eye on that. 10 minutes gone, it's been a quiet start. We could really do with something to ignite our season. Ideally a Ricky J. Jones goal, as Arthur Reed's got a free kick in a dangerous position. Put a lot of work into the set pieces, and that, I hope, is lift off, because the linesman is running away. Ricky J. Jones distracted his man. It missed everyone on the way through. And Gillespie at the back post, completely unmarked, fired into the empty net as the keeper was stranded. Half an hour gone. Again, it's not been vintage. We're not right into our stride yet. Don't forget it's a brand new tactic for this team. As Reed puts a corner in, we could do with set pieces going in. In the meantime, that one's into the side netting. And while we are getting used to things, we just want to get a few easy goals. At the moment, they've not been forthcoming, but it's been a solid enough first half as Egan finds Reed. Certainly not seen the vintage display against MK Dons again. That's a foul though on Javan Malcolm, and that's going to be a yellow card. We've got a free kick 30 yards out, and it is Arthur Reed territory. Can he put it in that top corner? Round the wall he goes. Arthur Reed! Just over the bar. It stays 1-0 on the stroke of half time. But Swindon straight back with a goal kick. I thought we were going for the whistle there. Newton with a kick downfield. It'd be a horrible time to concede, but it might well happen. Chadwick's put Trevitt in. They've not had a shot all game, and they've nearly scored one there. Just over the bar. The keeper was beaten. Thankfully, so was the woodwork. It is a 1-0 lead though for Hemel Hempstead. It has been a very solid performance. We need to back it up though. We need to get the lads on side, and that's the thing that's going to take time. Not got a great deal of help off the bench today though, so we could do with finding some form. Now, after continuing his comeback in midweek, Alidor Hamilton is going to come off at the hour mark. Graham Park will replace him. And again, the front two, we're just struggling to get going at the moment. As Swindon have got a throw on the left, they get back into this. I don't see where we score, as Park gives it to Egan. It's really annoying seeing his strikers not show a threat, but it only takes one moment. Not sure that's going to help, as we're not going to win headers up like that. As Hunt goes down the right for Swindon, not like this. They've got two in the middle, the marking's not great. It's back to Robinson and Trevitt. East to Breckin. Oh, it's a great strike. Keeper has absolutely no chance there. And it's 1-1. 64 minutes gone. We're going to demand more from the lads. We're going to try and go positive, but it's their only shot on target. They've scored a screamer and they've been outplayed apart from that. Similar story to the Oldham game, except they were able to frustrate us as they're in for 2-1 Swindon. They've just missed the target. We completely collapse in when we concede a goal. This is like going back 2 years. I'm going to go and make the change. Ricky J. Jones has not been great, so I'm going to switch them round. Daly will become the poacher. Javan Malcolm, the advanced forward. Please, just give me something special, because at the moment, it's not quite working out. And I can't explain it again. We were so good against MK Dons, and we've seen awful performances by comparison since. Can we nick a set piece though with Arthur Reed into McGinley? Just over the crossbar. Scott Egan is now knackered as well. There seems to be a big fitness issue in this squad. And I'm going to have to bring somebody on. I think it's going to be Will Nightingale. And he's just going to sit there in the half-back duty. It's not a great change to be making at this stage, but hopefully it can pay dividends. 13 to go. 5 minutes left. We've got another free kick in a dangerous position for Arthur Reed. Can he bend it round that wall and become an early hero for the club? It's his second spell, and that is absolutely stunning. It has not been a great performance, but if we can nick wins early in the season while we're getting used to this tactic, while our strikers are finding form again, then this could be a special season. You can see by equivalent, MK are winning 3-0 at Doncaster, and we've managed to get the win against Swindon. It was certainly not comfortable, it was certainly not great, but it's 3 points on the board. These guys only turn up for the cameras. What a result, a crucial one, and Arthur Reed, star of the show. Before Jones came in, we said he'd be the star signing. He's starting to deliver on that promise. On to deadline day. Well, it is transfer deadline day, and there are potential deals to be done. Will Nightingale is possibly on his way out on loan to Fylde. That would get a huge chunk of wage bill freed up, and that man could then be replaced with Priestley Farquharson. We'll wait and see if both of those deals come off. There's also one of two left-backs potentially joining on loan. We need to get a backup after losing Growell Pollard. And we wait to see if we get another big offer for Javan Malcolm, which is something we'll have to address. George Long, I don't think is going to come in now because G-Cock is back to fitness near enough and the other keeper's getting settled in. So signing another new one doesn't make sense. George Long at 32, we're starting to get his attributes through and it looks like positioning and handling are weaknesses. Something we don't really want to deal with at this stage of the season. So might not be much to do on that front. Might not be many big deals, but still a little bit of clearing out to do in the squad. Let's get through the rest of the day, see if any agents attract us, and see if any big deals present themselves. Hopefully, we can keep hold of our stars. Well, first big moment of the day, we're just umming and ahhing about a few players doing our classic scouting and getting feelers out as well. But Swindon have made a permanent offer for Nightingale after the Fylde loan bid previously. It doesn't matter too much which happens, but it would be good to get him off the books permanently, get that 700 quid a week out of the wage bill, and not have to worry about it in future. So we'll see if that one comes off. We'll get through the staff meeting. There's 13 hours to go, and there might be some surprises yet. We might be going big. Right, lots of news to digest with 11 hours to go. Firstly, Childs is a young player we were trying to sign from AFC Telford. He's rejected us for Port Vale. Familiar story. Nightingale has rejected Swindon. He wants to go on loan to Fylde. Makes no difference. With the monthly fee and with the playing wage, we're getting the equivalent of all the money back. So that deal is done too. We tried to get in a big deal for Critchlow, £45,000. He was at Peterborough and he looked really good. Unfortunately, he's rejected us. He's gone to Rotherham, who are in League One, so we can't begrudge him that. We've now got choices in other positions. Farcarson we've put in a bid for. It's 850 quid a week. He would be highly paid. He's a very good player, but you know my centre-halves, I pride them on positioning, which he hasn't really got. It's his weakness. He's got a good personality, he's fit, etc, etc. I'm being a bit tired because we had this with Nightingale last year and we thought, great signing. He's well rated, he's good, he's experienced, he's got everything you need. He's played loads of games at this level. And this guy's the same. He played a full season for Oxford last year, near enough. And in starting half the league season, he got an average rating of over 7 in League One. But is he going to be the man for us? I don't know. We've also then got the decision between the left-backs. The first one has agreed a deal with us, Matthew Whittingham. But I'm not sure he's my solution either. And the other one that we're looking at, and I know it comes back to my money situation again, but the other one that we were looking at, Owen Lloyd from Sunderland, there's no wage contribution. So do we have to prioritise him? Deadline day problems. We love a blind panic sign. And obviously the other fullback that Forest gave us, McDonough, has been brilliant. This is a big moment for us. If we reject this and then Lloyd doesn't agree to join, we're left stuck at left back. But I think I might have to be bold enough to do it. I'm going to reject Whittingham. It's for a backup. We can get in a cheap free agent if we need to. I'm going to reject him. Farcarson, I'm going to accept. And it does mean, I guess, if we're desperate, we've then got a centre-half that can go out to left-back because Farcarson could come in. We could put Brian Waugh out there as well. So let's do it. Don't be a letdown. Don't be another Will Nightingale. Nightingale goes, 700 quid a week saved. We're spending 850 on Farcarson. 3.5 star ability. In what position? Centre-half. He's the best at the club apparently. That could be a very big signing. If we can get him fit, I mean, we can play him in the EFL trophy. That could be absolutely fabulous. So let's get him training as a central defender on defend. Let's get through the squad registration. And Farcarson is going to be the new man. We've managed to get rid of Rowan Nightingale, so it's effectively paid for itself. I'm pretty happy with that. We did try and sneak Stansfield on loan from Fulham. He's a brilliant young striker. I think we had him at Hibs in the head coach last year, if I remember rightly. But he's not agreed to join. He's gone off to Exeter. We're trying to get a young keeper in who, on the face of it, looks all right. We're trying to scout him at the same time. So we're just going to offer a contract. I think he's going to join one of the better clubs anyway. It's happened to us with a lot of them this year. But we'll try and get this deal done. We'll be back in a minute for any more news. Well, Fulham have agreed to send us a keeper, which the director of football made the bid for. I'm not sure he's our solution, to be honest. He's rated okay, but I don't really know if I need a keeper. So if we're going to get one, it's got to be a young one that we're going to have permanently. The Metcalf one at Borough isn't looking great because he doesn't seem to be rated that well. So at the moment, I think we might just have to give it a miss. Who was that we were looking at? Owen Hampson from Gainsborough. 134 games. He's not playing great in the National League North, so we're not going to go for it. One man we are going to go for, though, with 10 hours left is Owen Lloyd. He is going to be our backup left back. I hope he's half as good as they're rating him from the initial scout report. But no wage contribution, a backup player. Let's go and get it done. The fact that Gateshead were the other club chasing him in the National League North, probably not a good sign, but hopefully is passable. We're going to reject the Metcalf one. We're not going to get another keeper. He doesn't look great. So let's just see how good Lloyd is. And I think that might be us for the day, unless there's a big offer for Malcolm, of course. Owen Lloyd is pretty blooming good. He looks like a good signing as well. Brian Waugh is going to welcome into the club. But 2.5 ability, 5-star potential. He's not far off the starting ability at this point. He's also a natural in the holding role, which might solve another problem as a backup. I tell you what, we've stumbled on a little gem again there for no contribution at all. Sunderland have done us a massive favour. So we've pulled out the Whittingham deal. It's because Lloyd was there. But that's a very good signing. That is, with 6 hours gone, our transfer deadline day at the moment. 2 signings, 1 player out. And I don't think there's going to be much more. Unless we get tempted into something massive, we might have a quiet last 9 hours. Well, injury problems continue. Javan Malcolm out for 2 to 3 days. Not actually seen anything about him getting interest. And in fact, the wanted's gone there. So maybe we will end up regretting not taking the 575 grand. But if he can have a good half a season again, we'll get the sell-on clause. Let's have a look at Will Nightingale. Rejected a move away, but he's just gone out on loan. Surely you're smart enough to see that. Well, we're back with 6 hours to go. We've just tried to get in another one of our cheap young signings in Graham McGrath, a player who's doing well at a fairly local side in Boreham Wood, a player in the National League who steps up well, and he seems to be a good young defender and 6'5". At 21 years of age, he's someone we'll keep an eye on, but he's rejected a contract with us that would have been a pay rise. Don't know if it's because we were trying to loan him back the season, but that is not good. Our squad is done. I don't think we're going to get anyone else. 6 hours remaining. Are we going to get any late bids? Well, we've got 30 minutes to go, and we've just had a scout report that suggests Niall Brookwell from Mansfield in League One is surplus to requirements and excellent for us. He looks pretty good as well, going on the attributes, so we're going to give this a go. I'm not sure it'll come off though. They're agreeing to a loan, but we've already got 5 or 6 at the club, so we probably need to be quite careful with him. Let's see what the agent says. £28,000 and a low wage. I think we've got to go for it, haven't we? Let's suggest the terms. 25 grand has been agreed. Can we get it done in 30 minutes? That's the question. 15 minutes to go. The offer's accepted. It's not going to happen in time. We're 1 15-minute break short of making this work. And although he's going to agree to terms, it will be on the stroke of deadline day. And we won't get it done. What an unfortunate way to end. We'll try our best. But I think it might be a little too late. We'll go up to $450 a week. It would have just been that little piece of the jigsaw, particularly as he can cover right back where we're losing players to international breaks. But I think we're going to end up just 15 minutes off getting this deal done. Will he agree to terms? He will. Let's see if it can get done. 15 minutes, please, give us a bit of luck. The Brookwell transfer is cancelled. One that didn't quite get the paperwork done in time. An extra half an hour, we probably would have been celebrating a new signing. But look at the difference. Pompey are signing Cyrus Christie, an Irish international, on deadline day, and we've not quite got the ability to get another deal over the line. So in the end, it's a pretty quiet day. Owen Lloyd joins on loan from Sunderland. Priestley Farcarson joins as a centre-half on a free. Will Nightingale has left for Fylde, who are paying his wages on loan for the year. And we're left with a squad that I think can compete, but probably is 1 or 2 short of being brilliant. If we could have had that lad in and got rid of Brunt, that would have been a nice exchange as well. So for now, it's just about seeing how we compete the rest of the year. The squad are getting used to the new tactic. We need to get goals into Jones and Malcolm quick. But Malcolm started slowly last year, so no need to panic just yet. It's a new tactic, it's not familiar. Give it a couple of months, we could be flying. We did get the win against Swindon, though, albeit it was unconvincing. Let's have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back. I mean, I fancy the likes of Pompey and Spurs because that's a good episode. But I think it's a little bit too soon. So we might come back a little later in that month. But some point in October, we'll be back for the next one. If you did enjoy this episode, deadline day and a late victory against promoted Swindon, please do chuck a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories. Let me know in the comments what you think of deadline day. Are we going to regret not getting that deal done half an hour earlier? Or have we got a squad to compete? Let me know your thoughts. In the meantime, we'll be back tomorrow. We've got a transfer special in the head coach to come. Director of football in charge of that one. So hopefully it'll be a good week on the channel. We'll be back in 2 days' time with Hemel Hempstead Town. And fingers crossed we'll have started clicking in front of goal. And Ricky J. Jones, the hero, will start scoring. All the other stuff you may want to find in the meantime up in the eye above, including real life Hemel Hempstead content. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Hopefully, good form's round the corner.